Hi everybody. It is as the title implies. I did speedrun Demon's Crest for one concentrated week, but before I get to that, I want to thank all of you for subscribing to my channel. We are so close to 100 subscribers, and I'm honestly thrilled about it. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy this video. When this series was born into the internet, I started it off with the great, modern, nostalgia-ridden 3D platformer Yooka-Laylee. Today, I'm gonna move into a bit of a different direction, and I'm choosing Demon's Crest, a game I thought was a bit of a random title on Nintendo's SNES collection for Switch, but soon became one of my favorite Capcom platforming titles. As I'm not making a game review right now, I'll just brush over a few things that I loved that helped me decide to speedrun this game. The setting, the atmosphere, the monsters, the characters, they're all so cool. You start off by killing a dragon, twice, and then you kill every boss gathering their powers like it's Mega Man to ultimately progress to the end. Last thing I'll mention is that you can wall cling, wall jump, and fly without any sort of endurance factoring into how long you can do any of it. All of these things excited me about the speedrun. Speaking of the speedrun, here are some of the things that I needed to do to complete it. Learning boss patterns and manipulation for 6 bosses, that excludes the first dragon, he's hardly a pattern-based boss. Flying over most levels, speeding through a few levels, and dodging spider RNG meticulously. As I only had a week to run this game, my first day was spent completing the run many times very slowly, and while using the Switch's rewind function, I was able to learn quite a lot very efficiently. Day 2 began and I save-stated a few bosses that were giving me trouble until I could iron them out all the way, and before the day was over, I had scored a 14:03 run as my first timed speedrun. It might have been a bit late to mention this, but the world record is currently 10 minutes and 30 seconds. For my first run, I felt pretty satisfied with this and took the last hours of my day off. Day 3 was a big practice day for me. I didn't pull a single run, but instead focused more on bosses I still felt I needed to stop dying to. Got the flying Skelebone boss down to a science at this point. Day 4 came and I had a ton of time to save on my previous record. As soon as I started running for the day, I hit a 13:42, including only 1 death. Later in the day I cleaned it up even more, finally scoring a run with no deaths at 12:30. I did have a few more run attempts before I slept, but no more PBs. Day 5 was largely spent on studying the world record while I was at work with any spare time that I had. Getting back home late, there wasn't much time in the day for a lot of speedruns, so I sharpened my stage movement and boss strats for a little while. Day 6 went similarly to Day 5. I spent much of the day at work. With little left to study about the world record, this was mostly a block of time that sat in the way of my practice. Out of all of my runs this day though, none of them beat my PB. The bosses were getting pretty frustrating at this point. Mostly just this guy. Yeah, F this guy. Dawn of the final day, and I had it all to myself. The first thing I did on Day 7 was make the switch from English Virtual Console, Demon's Crest, to Japanese on emulator, Demon's Blazon. Definitely not saying that with a Japanese accent. Ultimately, I think this version only changes the fight with the dragon, but boy is it different. See, in the English version, you have to stand below the dragon's head to bait him down into your attack 6 times. In the Japanese version, however, you can bait the dragon down while flying this high and you only have to hit him 3 times. I'm not 100% sure, but I think the Japanese version may also have fewer text boxes whenever those things actually do appear in the run. Now that I had my versions differentiated, I just needed to do some runs. And run I did. Even with the Japanese ROM boosting me the amount that it did, I still struggled to kill the bosses more quickly than my 12:30 PB. Eventually I managed to get a run finished at 12:24. This would end up being the last PB of my challenge. So, within 1 week of speedrunning Demon's Crest, I was able to finish within 2 minutes of the world record and place 35th on speedrun.com's leaderboards. Not too shabby if I do say so myself.